Sensational news has just come from Mexico. Archaeologists have discovered the oldest underwater tunnel that connects the two flooded cave systems. Ojos and Zacacta near Tulum, the city of ancient May on the Yucatan Peninsula. The result is the world's largest flooded labyrinth system with a length of 347 kilometers. An object was found which can change the history of mankind, and the most interesting thing is that a skull with a microchip was found inside the labyrinth. Moreover, this skull is around 9,000 years old. How is that possible? A Mexican journalist is currently investigating the circumstances of the find. Many bones were found during an underwater excavation, he said, but when scientists dried and cleaned the remains, they saw a copper stain on one of the skulls that may seem trivial. Maya Indians knew how to perform operations on the skull and sometimes applied metal plasters, but more detailed studies shocked scientists. Experts saw a very thin branched system of contacts, since on modern electronic boards the ends of the conductors are recessed to the edges of the inner part of the skull. The strict symmetry of the lines did not raise doubts about the technological purpose of the object. Scientists immediately reported this unique artifact to the government. The answer was instant. Information about the underwater find was immediately classified. They took the skull itself, and where the skull is now, there is no information. The researchers noticed one strange coincidence. A sensational find was made recently in Bulgaria during excavations in the Black Sea cellar. Mysterious remains were discovered. At first glance, these skulls were no different from others, but they had strange marks on them. Examination showed that these are traces of the most real neurosurgical operations. Well, even more shock awaited the scientists when they managed to date the artifacts. They are at least 10,000 years old. How is this possible? Who could have done this in the era of the caveman? Associate professor at the University of Medicine puts forward a shocking hypothesis. There is also such a hypothesis. The ancient Atlanteans left their knowledge to the local population living on the Balkan Peninsula. It's definitely Montenegrin. And there is such a hypothesis that it was the Atlanteans who were a highly developed civilization and transmitted knowledge at that wonderful time before the flood happened. But is it? That is not all. Similar Mexican tunnels can be part of a real underwater city. Another great find was recently made in Cuba by a naval engineer with the Cuban government, conducted exploration of the seabed relief on the west coast. They looked for sunken ships, but they found something completely different. At depths from 600 to 750 meters, the echo sounder showed absolutely correct geometric structures that could not have arisen without the intervention of intelligent beings. It was hard to believe in it. First they thought that the object they discovered had something to do with submarines, maybe even an underwater terminal. It was very big as an international airport. Well, very soon it became clear that these structures are not associated with modern human civilization. In the image obtained by the echo sounder, geometric regular stone structures were obtained. They cover an area of 2 square kilometers. The underwater vehicle recorded stone structures in the form of various pyramids built from massive blocks, as well as roads and circular structures. Scientists have built a fairly accurate 3D computer model of an underwater city based on echo sounder data. The researchers claimed that the city was built from giant blocks measuring 2 by 5 meters. This is confirmed by underwater surveys on which straight edges and corners are clearly visible, as well as straight cut lines and traces of catastrophic destruction. And then it became clear to scientists where the famous underwater road off the coast of the United States could enter. There is an ancient road at the bottom of the ocean. Scientists managed to take samples of the stone highway. The analysis of the rock showed that it is nothing more than a complex cement, about 10,000 years old. This definitely means that it was built by very intelligent creatures. In addition, last year, not far from the Bahamas, 2 structures resembling pyramids were discovered. The famous conspiracy theorist was the first to declare this. There are too many artifacts for one area. On the face are clear signs of a center of a highly developed ancient civilization, a road, a city, pyramids, and even Mayan cities in Yucatan and recent finds in Mexican caves. Researchers put forward a bold hypothesis. This civilization could be directly related to the legendary Atlantis. A number of ancient sources claim that this country had colonies or provinces on the outskirts of the continents. See this incredible sight. While diving off the coast of Egypt, a French archaeologist at a depth of only 10 meters came across the ruins of an ancient city, a black granite slab with ancient inscriptions, 3 statues of pink granite, a tomb, more than 1,000 small items of gold earrings, rings, hairpins, bracelets, hundreds of coins. According to scientists, this is how the finding of Atlantis should have looked like. But officially, scientists firmly stated that these are the ruins of another city, and there have been legends about him for more than 2,000 years. It was called Heracleion. This Egyptian city in the Nile Delta was destroyed by an earthquake in the 1st century BC. However, some researchers put forward a shocking hypothesis. Heracleion was a fragment of Atlantis. Moreover, it was clearly not the only coastal city that could be related to that ancient civilization. A bold hypothesis. Fragments of Atlantis can be found even in such understandable explored places as the Black Sea. The diver said that he worked on an underwater excavation in Annaba. Few people know that this resort is located on the territory of the ancient Greek city, and this city also arose on the site of some ancient settlement. However, it was not a large metropolis in our understanding. It was a small town, and it could not spread over a huge area for kilometers from the modern coastline. What city in the Black Sea did underwater archaeologists find? Divers again and again inform scientists about the ancient ruins they observe at the bottom of the Black Sea, and there is nothing strange in this, since the level of the Black Sea has changed more than once and dozens of cities, including very ancient ones, could appear at the bottom. But how ancient? What people did they belong to? Just look at this. In 2015, the underwater city was discovered near Jelensik, 300 meters from the coast. According to researchers near Jelensik Bay, they discovered huge grottos with clear signs of human processing. Last year, Italian explorers discovered the ruins of Neapolis on the Tunisian coast. This city sank in the Mediterranean Sea in 365 AD as a result of a gigantic tsunami. It also could not be found for a very long time. But why did the researchers decide that all these underwater ruins could be related to Atlantis? And this is not all the shocking discoveries. In October 2017, a professional geologist and explorer organized an expedition to the island of Fovignana, located near Sicily. The purpose of the expedition was to explore the underwater labyrinths, the so-called quarries. These corridors, according to local residents, are located not only on the island itself, but also go deep under the water. And they obviously keep some strange riddle. Who and when mined the stone here is not known. Why? It is not clear too. There are no traces of large buildings on a small island of only 37 square kilometers. Everyone says that the Romans mined the stone here, but there is no evidence or explanation. Having explored the coast, Alexander Koltopin, a Russian geologist, put forward a shocking theory that this is not quarry at all, but a ruined city. But it wasn't people who lived there. It turned out that along the entire length of the coast, in addition to these quarries, there is a huge number of entrances to the ground. Who could live in such a semi-submerged city? Was he underwater before, or vice versa on land? The Russian researcher managed to find an incredible artifact, bas relief, which supposedly depicts the inhabitants of this ancient structure. The city really has nothing to do with ancient Rome. In addition, there is also circumstantial evidence for the incredible hypothesis. In some halls there are a lot of strange structures of unknown purpose. These are similar to the stairs that lead to the recess carved in the stones. They resemble sleeping beds, 1.5 meters per meter. These boxes were clearly not meant for people who simply could not get to them, but for creatures that are slightly smaller than humans. They are ideal. For a long time, Alexander Koltopin could not understand what does all this remind him of, until he remembered the legend of Nivatakavachi. They are a type of sea demons. At the same time, it is mentioned that they lived in a city on the other end of the earth on the seashore, which, according to the description, is very similar to the quarries on the island in Fovignana. The Indian epic says that they possess paranormal powers. When there was a war between them, They could plunge the world into darkness by causing rain. They were short, and they more than compensated for the lack of physical strength with extrasensory abilities. The fishmen are believed to have possessed anti-gravity. They could lift stones and boulders with the power of thought. It looks like it was an unusual advanced civilization. Moreover, it is possible that some of its representatives are still alive. Scientists believe that the sea level has never dropped below 120 meters from modern. However, the city discovered in Cuba is located much lower, which means that either the catastrophe that hit the Earth was much stronger than scientists imagine, or the city was originally built underwater. And creatures for whom water is the same natural habitat as the Earth could well build it. According to the researchers, they can still live there. They just avoid meeting the person.
Hey bros, what's going on? This is Cotton. Be sure to subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, because subscribing makes you feel good.